Yeah, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another car video. Choosing signals and code approach. I wanted to address this because, there's always this debate in this part of YouTube about which one is better. And I know people who advocate both sides, and I'm cool with people with both sides. So I'm not putting anyone's name in this. But I'm just going to give my position on it. And it's a position I've advocated for 20 years. Yeah. Yeah, probably like Rom always looking. Yeah. Yeah, one thing about gyms, they give you some stuff. But anyway, right? It's the thing is, in my view, it's not an either or. It's just a part of your arsenal and stuff. You can have both. In fact, there's some aspects of it you have to use both, right? There's some aspects you have to use both, but it depends on where you are, right? Because between choosing signals and code approach, there's a range. There's a range that you got to look at, right? Let's start with choosing signals. What are choosing signals? The woman is making it blatant that she's interested in you, right? She's making it blatant. She's looking at you. She might even approach you, right? She might even approach you. But see, here's the issue with that. Women in general don't do that. Women in general don't do that, and most men won't experience that. I had a webinar done on my private site where one of the brothers, I ain't gonna call his name, he likes to be low key, but this dude is the master of approach, and he said it best. He said, shoot, only 95, only 5% of men will get approached. And I think that was generous. Or I'll say get choosing signals that blatant, right? That blatant where they don't have to do anything. They can just chill and the woman gonna come up to them. And usually for somebody to even have that, their bait got to be out of this world. Their bait got to be extraordinary. Basically, they got to have a killer body, the style, demeanor, everything about them that a woman is just so moved. She going to go out of her natural state and approach you. And it's not impossible, but only a few guys got that. You pretty much talking about an alpha showpiece with some style. An alpha showpiece, like that dude's in that 1%. Like I said, 5% might be generous. That dude gotta be like pow and something, and just move a woman to that extent, got her vagina dancing to the point she's just like, fuck it, she just gonna approach. Only a few men got it like that, right? And then few men are even gonna get blatant choosing signals like that. Even if the woman think he an alpha showpiece, like just blatant. But then the more common type of choosing signal, actually is where women are very subtle. We're very subtle or indirect or something. You might not get anything other than a smile or a look or something, right? That's actually the more common type. Now, here's the thing with that common type. You still have to approach. In my book, Nice Guys and Players, I got a whole chapter on choosing signals. In fact, I think a lot of people got the idea from me anyway, right? Because remember, my book came out in 2000. It was really written before that. The current edition came out in 2000. First edition came out in 1999. And I think a lot of people just think that. But if you read in my book a little bit further, if you go further in my book, I got a whole chapter on meeting beautiful women. And I specifically started the chapter off saying, yeah, women choose the men. They'll choose who they want. They open the door for them. Well, I ain't say open the door in that one, but yeah, they'll choose. You still got to approach. Because all the choosing signal is really just opening the door. She's like, oh, okay. What he going to do now? And I've said that. I did seminars, webinars where I said that. And I'm talking like from back in the day, I said that. I said, yeah, the women, like, they'll give you that signal, but she wait for you to choose. And they'll look at you till you do. I remember back in 1984, I was working on a summer job in Kenilworth Parkside, right? And one of my coworkers came up and said, hey, yeah, Rom, this girl been checking you out. right? I say, yeah. But she ain't gonna say anything to you. She just gonna look at you until you make a move. Boom. Game right there, right? I wasn't interested in it. Because, see, remember, it's still up to the women might send a choosing signal, but it's still up to the man to choose whether or not he want to interact with her. And if it's a situation where she choosing her, you just not interested, either ignore her or just find a way to tell her in as kind a way as possible you ain't interested. If that don't work, just say, I ain't interested. Seriously. But even when she opened that door, you still got to approach anyway. Now, that's a warm approach. That's a soft approach, right? That's a soft approach. But not only in my book and also in another book where I'm actually talk more about approaching and meeting women, which is Meeting Attractive Women. That's one of my books as well. It's a Nice Guys and Players book, and I give some specific ways to approach women. Because, okay, yeah, you do get those women give the choosing signals, but what about those situations where the woman don't give a signal at all, one? And let me speak on that real quick. Sometimes a woman can check out a guy, think he fine, their vagina doing the rumba, but they don't show anything on their face. They don't show any indication on their face. They don't give any type of signal. And I got so many stories about that, right? Like, I remember this one woman. She'd be considered at least a 9. At least a 9, right? I mean, and she was fine as shit. Now, I remember this was years ago, downtown DC. I'm walking around in this mall downtown, the shops when it had more stores in it, right? And she worked at this sunglass place. She ever see it, she gonna laugh, right? But she ever see this, she'll laugh. But she, I saw her in there, right? She selling sunglasses. I was like, damn, she fine. I don't wear sunglasses. I walked in there, she did her regular customer service thing. Now, mind you, when she was looking at me, she didn't smile. She didn't really smile. She was just total customer service. Like, that was it. So she gave zero signal. But she was fine. And she said, well, we got some nice sunglasses, got some new ones. And I just straight up told her. I said, look, I don't really wear sunglasses. I came in here and talked to you. And then later, she just said, you know what? I like that. That was a cold approach. She didn't give me any signal. And then there was another time. This wasn't so much a cold approach. This is one of my favorite stories, though. I was doing some vending at a fashion show, right? I was doing some vending at a fashion show. And I got 2 stories out of doing something at a fashion show. I'll give that to you in a second. But one of the first times, I'm setting up my stuff, had some books and pamphlets. This is even before I put out Nice Guys and Players. So this dude and this woman sat up next to me, right? And this woman's fine as shit. And I would find out, and I think I mentioned her. There was a named celebrity, I could get a name, who was trying to get at her. And I would find that out later, though. Right then, I just saw this fine ass woman. Oh, good Lord! Damn! Damn, she fine. Shit. If she had social media, Rom be like hitting her up, hey girl, how you doing? But she was fine as shit. God damn. And we were kicking it for a few years, right? But check it out. To even meet her, I saw what to do. She gave me no indication. She didn't look over at me or anything. But I looked at her, I was like, damn, she fine, right? So she stepped away from the table for a second. So I talked to dude, right? I said, hey, dude. Hey, look, man, she fine as shit, man. There ain't no disrespect. She fine as shit. Y'all kicking it? Y'all together? Y'all peoples? Something along those lines. He was like, nah, man. And as soon as he told me that, I said, all right, man, just to let you know, I'm about to holler at her. I hollered at her, and she was down as hell. Oh, and something else, and this go back to that choosing signal thing, because remember the choosing signal thing, or women being aggressive, that's something that still happens depending on who you are. I mean, we can't overcome that, right? it was another show, and I was selling some stuff, and this woman, she actually bought my stuff, and she approached me. I didn't even have to yell out to her. She approached me real friendly, called me later. Boom. Another one, she was making most of the moves. I'm just trying to sell my shit. But, so that still happens, depending on how you look at everything. Shit, I was selling stuff at a fashion show. I had to look fly. So, anyway, right? But you still got to make that move sometime, You still got to make that move, because like with that woman I just mentioned, who was with the guy, setting up with the guy, she let me know it was, she was interested. And then there was another woman I used to work with her and stuff. And this before all the Me Too stuff, she gave me zero indication she was interested. Zero. I still went for it anyway. And then she let me know that, oh yeah, she was interested. See, that's one thing. Sometimes women don't always show a signal. So you still got to approach, and then when she does show a signal, you still got to approach. But those are relatively warm approaches, right? It's kind of softball, make it easy. And that's cool. That's cool. Anybody look for who's big on choosing signals, she still got to have a warm approach. She's opening the door. And it, like I said, it's very subtle. But then sometimes you got a straight up cold approach. You have to cold approach. I say a significant number of the fine women I had the cold approach. And they actually more receptive. Now, they might not show anything because they get a lot of attention anyway, so they got to be kind of cool and calm, a little bit defensive. So you got to cold approach them. There ain't no ifs, ands, and buts. And see, there's some, and I've told people, some people might have heard me talk about it here. I've definitely talked about it privately. I've definitely talked about it in coaching. You got to follow what I call the damn principle. Ron, what is the damn principle? If you see a woman and the first word out your mouth is damn or something equivalent, approach. Don't think about it. Don't be like looking for a signal like, damn, she fine as hell. All right, I'm going to wait for a signal. Bump that! If that woman got that big, look, if I see a woman, she got at least a cute face, nice upper body, decent shape, and a big old butt dunk. Shit, I ain't hesitate. She don't have to give me any signal. And see, plus also, too, sometimes the woman she just might not have seen you. What you gonna do, wait? And then you be for weeks, you'll call your boys up, man, I saw this fine-ass woman. Your boys be like, you're approaching. Nah, man, she ain't send me a signal. Bump that! Bump that. You see a fine-ass woman, look. If anytime you see a fine woman, first of all, let's be real out here. Anything above an 8 is rare. Out here, you ain't gonna see, unless you in certain environments, you ain't gonna see that regular. Hell, you can be in a strip club or something, you ain't gonna see like anything above an 8 regularly. Let's be real, some little strippers, they got nice bodies, but let's just be real with it. Seriously, you ain't gonna see that regularly. What you gonna do, sit back and wait? No, fuck that. Boom! Go holler. Shit, make it cold. The worst she could do is reject you. But then at least in your mind, you can think, you know what, I shot my jumper. Alright? And see, let's just be real with it, man. It shouldn't be, ultimately, if you win it, I ain't gonna use the term. Shout out Cousin Tita. He know what I'm talking about, though. Sometimes you can't have a specific way because you're going to get different types of women out here. You're going to get some, depending on your bait, you're going to run into those women who going to be blatant, handing, with what they want to do with you. Sometimes you're going to run into them. Okay, fine. If you like her back, boom. And she might even be attractive sometime. Boom. Right? But then there's going to be a lot of women, they'll send you a signal, but the shit'll be subtle. The shit'll be so subtle, it might just be a smile or something. They still waiting for you to make the approach. And some women, they'll just keep looking at you forever until you decide you want to approach. And then after a while, they like, whatever. So you still got to approach. Still a warm thing, And then, also the situations where they interested, but they don't give any signal. They stay cool. They ain't smiling, barely look at you and everything. So you still got a that's when it's a cold approach. She ain't give you nothing but your approach. And especially if she real fine, what you gonna do? Because you're gonna be frustrated. You wait, she might not show anything seriously. And a lot of, let me tell you what, like I said, the really fine ones don't necessarily show so. Now, I mentioned one when I was at that fashion show, a real fine one kind of was on an approach, but that's still rare. Even for an alpha showpiece, that shit is rare. You know? Even for an alpha showpiece. So, this whole thing and the back and forth, y'all just arguing about styles, man. I mean, just use the style best for you. Don't, show some respect for the other one. If that's not your style, it's just not your style. Do what works for you. Hell, if you just happen to be one of those people that women constantly approach, oh, well, man, shit. All right. But see, here's the funny thing, though, and this is ultimately, every man really, to be honest with you, and I'm just going to say this, and this is why I have in the way I teach it, you got to be able to switch up. You never know. Because women ultimately are different. It's going to be different sides, come at you at different angles. You got to be that type who got that bait strong enough that a woman gonna approach you, but also that type who can pick up on those signals and make that warm approach, or that woman ain't showing those signals and you still make the approach, or then the damn principle, you make that approach. But I'm gonna tell you the truth, really, 98% of the time, really 99% of the time, you're gonna have to approach. Regardless, signals, whether it's choosing signals, even if you're an alpha showpiece, whether it's choosing signals, hard choosing signals, soft choosing signals, she ain't showing no choosing signals, or most definitely when she ain't showing shit at all and she ain't even feeling anything, because she might not see you. You don't know. So you gotta have all of them, and I would just say this, like I said, I know people on both sides of the argument, man, but you can have them both, and if you don't, you just don't. But you can have them both, because you need to have a toolbox. You need to have a toolbox, because it's different women. Especially if you want to have the more you got in your arsenal, the more options you got. The more options you got, the more you got a chance of getting that worthwhile woman. So anyway, though, that's all I got for today. I want y'all to think about that, though. Seriously, don't limit yourself. Like I said, if y'all get my book, Nice Guys and Players, got the chapter on choosing, but then also got the chapter on meeting, and got the whole book, Meeting Attractive Women. That's all approach right there. So anyway, that's all we got. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace and blessings.